check. I didn't know this happened. I think Profeta posted this. Shout out to Profeta. Let's dive straight into it.
Part of the reason why a lot of the issues with Pulsechain started, I feel bad about it, and I'll be the bigger person and apologize. I don't like that you're getting trolled this way. I think initially we always wanted to build bridges and be a part of the cool stuff that you guys have going on, and there were a lot of people that kind of just felt maybe you misspoke or whatever when you did the interview with David, and they felt like you kind of conflated two different issues between a criminal case and a civil case. And a lot of people took issue with that because it was kind of flooding their bags and making people think that, you know, there was this criminal case in the United States against Richard that wasn't going to get dropped. And, you know, that was where a lot of the backlash came from. But I don't think it's cool that you're getting trolled and essentially, I guess, bullied to the extent that you are. But the one thing that I will say is you got to understand just how pushed around and bullied this community has been by the greater crypto community as a whole. So whenever people attack them or they perceive attack, they generally tend to go on the defensive really quick because there's a lot of trauma there.
Well, I appreciate that. You do also have to understand that you've made enemies out of people that aren't enemies, and you have to be self-reflective. If all you do is attack people, maybe, just maybe, the reason why you're being bullied is because you earned it.
That's the truth. A lot of people do that in crypto though. Shout out to Charles. If you constantly attack people, you're in attack mode. Get prepared for what's coming back. You know, I do that a lot on this channel, but I don't attack people personally. But every time you see me make like an angry video, I'm ranting and whatnot, I'm usually retaliating to fools who just think they can come in here and just be attacking people. You know, that's why. So be nice and someone else will be nice to you. That's it. Otherwise, if you just keep constantly attacking people, some people, they do that. Their whole channel basis is based off of that, just attacking blockchains and these crypto founders who you don't know from a can of paint. You don't realize the amount of work they're putting in the background. You just a little guy, an investor, and you feel like, okay, I'm going after Charles Hoskinson. He's greedy. Charles Hoskinson is this and that. A CZ of Binance is doing dodgy dealings with the exchange and whatnot. He needs to go to jail. Binance is going to go down. At that attitude, whatever comes back your way, you deserve, because you don't know these people from a can of paint. They have large communities. They work so hard trying to maintain their image and just give value to this crypto world that we are in for so many years, and you just constantly just attacking them and trying to bring them down. That's not a nice thing to do. So whatever you do, it comes back your way. Yeah.
Cardano had nothing to do with Pulsechain or Hex. We didn't care. And we had no relationship there. And now it's left an absolutely bitter, horrendous taste in my mouth, including from your founder on down. And it's going to be hard for me to objectively look at that and say, oh, well, it's all forgiven and forgotten. That was completely self-inflicted. Again, the fact pattern is absolutely the same. I still believe this case against Richard will not be dropped. I still believe criminal case, because there is one in Finland, and I believe there's a strong possibility that could be extended into the United States through the IRS after he gets arrested. Okay, and I appreciate people can have a difference of opinion of these things. These are my beliefs. This is not an attack on the Pulsechain community. This is a statement of facts.
Bam, there you have it. It's just an opinion, boo, and you cannot stop people from having their own opinions. That's it. Instead of attacking the guy, take the good, leave the bad. That's what I do. I like them both. I like Charles and I like Richard. Y'all see my channel. I talk about Pulsechain a lot and I talk about Cardano a lot. Why? Because back in 2020, if you go back, I talk about this all the time on this channel. The first video I made about Cardano was me covering the price. It was at 8 cents, bro. And few days before that, I bought it at 2 cents, 5 cents, 3 cents, 3.5 cents. This was the 2020, you know, Black Thursday. Right after when it happened, everything crumbled, including the crypto market. Stock market and crypto went down. It was the greatest opportunity ever. Some people picked up Tesla at just $85 to a few hundos, all the way up to $800 a year later, the Tesla stock. So the opportunities were there for everybody to gain. So when Pulsechain was born, I did not sacrifice into Pulsechain. I'm not a Pulsecan, not a Hexican. I've been in the Cardano community for many years. Charles changed my life from when I had nothing to where I am today. Charles Hoskinson did that, bro. So big up to him. Pulsechain, when I see opportunity, I just see, okay, this is a new blockchain that's upcoming. If Richard succeeded with Hex, he might succeed with Pulsechain. This is how I move on this channel. You know, I admire both guys because in a way they have something to offer, you know, to the world. One guy made 2,000 millionaires with Hex. The other guy in 2021, when the stats came out, at some point I think it was 5,000 to 7,000 people that made millions with Cardano. You know, they both, you know, offered you something.
There is a red notice. It exists. Your community seems to not say that, or say it's a deep state conspiracy or all this other stuff. There is a fraud case, securities fraud, personally against Richard, not against a company, not against a token issuing entity, not against a foundation, against Richard personally as a person. That's a different nature of a case. They say, well, it's not criminal. You lied. You said it was criminal. The s.e.c. cannot and never has brought a criminal case against somebody. They're a civil enforcement agency.
That's another thing too, Ricky. You better listen to Charles, Richard. Beating up 16-year-old chicks, evading paying taxes, running away from Finland, doing all of these kind of activities is just gonna come back and bite you. I know of Charles, like sometimes when Charles says something, people don't see it until a year or two later. They don't see it because I remember years ago in 2020, the EOS community in 2018, 19-ish, the EOS community always attacked Hoskinson, and I never understood why. And he was just telling them your $4 billion ICO in that you know, y'all calling Cardano vapor bear, but wait till you see what we building is way better than what you building. And look at that, years later the EOS community understood, because Cardano is still standing. Where's EOS today? Where's all of that $4 billion Dan Laramie and that you know? Sometimes Charles speaks prophecy. People don't see it instantaneously. So Richard, you better listen. Y'all both founders. One needs to listen to the other.
Of course, it's not criminal. They're not allowed to do that, which is why they coordinate with the Department of Justice, the IRS, the CFTC, and other agencies for them to levy criminal cases where and when appropriate. And typically, when you have one federal agency going after you, it's an invitation for more than one federal agency to go after you. If they say you've committed securities fraud, you probably have not paid your taxes according to their opinion, which opens up the CID to investigate you at the IRS. If they say you've committed securities fraud, perhaps you've also committed an OFAC violation. If you've committed securities fraud, perhaps you've committed bank fraud. Because when you sign up for a bank account in the United States, you sign a lot of documents. And those documents give the banks broad remits on forcing you to tell them the nature of your business. And if you don't tell them the business, that's fraud, which means you can be charged with wire fraud, bank fraud, all kinds of things. Now, I appreciate that everyday crypto people don't understand these nuances. And I've had to learn them over the last 15 years, watching friends of mine like Roger Ver get arrested, looking at a century in prison for taxes 10 years ago that he thought he didn't have to pay because his lawyers told him he didn't, and he rescinded his U.S. citizenship. I appreciate these things because I watched what happened to John McAfee, who was also a friend of mine, who was on the run from the tax man for several years. Appreciate these things because every exchange I have a relationship with got sued.
There you go. That's another thing too. If you're a crypto founder or you're a crypto personality or whatever, you came across large sums of money, however you made it in the game, legitly or whatever, but you have to watch out that somebody's always watching. It's not us. We're small people, but we can't do nothing against no crypto founder or whatnot. What, a bunch of small people trying to make some money in crypto and whatnot. And I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the big eyes. I'm talking about someone who has like BlackRock power type, someone who has power to influence laws to be changed, someone who has power to persecute people, someone who is that close to presidents of United States and whatnot. So you persecutors, people who work at CFTC and whatnot, and they watching this dude wearing some clown suit, bragging about owning diamonds and whatnot, and they found out he took a sacrifice of billions of dollars. You're making yourself a target. Like, just think, people, like, be careful. That's it. Just be careful, bro, because if you're a founder or you some kind of influencer or whatever you have, and you come across this large amount of money, just be careful. You don't know who else is watching you. And people who are bitter and they're watching you brag and do all this other stuff, they're gonna take all of that information and they're gonna hand it to the authorities, and they're gonna come after you. So don't make yourself a target just to make a statement. It's kind of silly.
By the Securities Exchange Commission, and I had to talk to them, deal with them, and in some of those lawsuits, ADA was listed as a security, which obviously meant that we got dragged into these things, and we didn't want to be, but we did. We spent the last 3 years dealing with that. Okay, and the appropriate response was, let's all work together. So talk to Ben, talk to CZ, talk to Jesse, talk to all the other layer 1 founders. And yes, sometimes we razz each other over Twitter. The appropriate response was not, well, anytime one of these ecosystems does something negative against me, we should rally the entire Cardano ecosystem to hate them and burn them to the ground and harass them brutally over Twitter. Where are the mobs of people on Cardano going after Vitalik? Where are the mobs of people on Cardano going after Anatoly or Ben? Or any of the people that we've had grievances with or perceived grievances with over the years. That's the difference. And it's not an excuse to say, well, we're fragile because no one gives us respect. Well, maybe, just maybe, there's more to that than just everybody hates you just because they're jealous. And have
Can I ask you a question,
man?
Can I ask you a question about like Roger and those guys? Like, how come you are able to say that they're being unfairly targeted, but not Richard? I don't understand.
Because I personally know Roger Ver, and I've spent years knowing Roger Ver. I've known him since 2011. So after I have 14 years of experience with the man, maybe, just maybe, I can make a value judgment on the nature of the case. And I also know CZ. And here's the thing, CZ's worth $100 billion. 80% of all altcoin volume goes through his exchange, and he has a direct relationship with many of the governments of the world. And he was a big supporter of Tron.
But he also ran one of the most corrupt exchanges in the early days of crypto. Like, you and I were both here for that, and you...
There's no evidence of that, though. That's people always, come on, man. Y'all did this to Arthur Hayes of BitMEX. There's no evidence that Binance ever did that. And when they looked into Binance, but you know what they done CZ for? The same thing they did with the Telegram guy, Pavel. The same thing, bro. You allowed bad people to come and trade on your platform, so you gotta go down to it. That's like me owning a shop, and my customers come in every day, and one day one customer walk in. I don't know how to check counterfeit money, and then he hands me a bill, buys his goods, I take it, put it on my cash register. Next thing you know, the CFTC or whatever organization, alphabet organization, comes into my shop and say, you gotta get arrested because you accepted payments that are counterfeit money. How would I know to check? Like, you can't control who uses Telegram, you can't control who uses Binance. So why did he have to go to jail because some terrorist organization or whatever decided to trade their funds on Binance? Come on, bro. Like, it's silly.
You know how corrupt it was.
I have no bearing to know if that was corrupt or not, and you don't either. Because if it was so corrupt, why is he not in prison? If it was
because back then it was the Wild West. You were here, dude. Like, you know how it was.
If it was the Wild West, then how come the federal government didn't just charge him with all of that?
they didn't have enforcement back then, and
Oh, they
you
didn't
know
have
that
enforcement.
nobody was getting.
They did have enforcement though. This is, come on, man. Chill. I like you, but you know, you're wrong in this, Chill. Come on, bro. Like, here's the thing about American law. Even Gensler spoke about this, the Howey test and whatnot. This is 1940s law that they try to use to judge crypto now. You know, crypto was born many decades after them laws were implemented. So they did have the same thing. They just didn't come after it at the time because it was in its infancies. And there should be evidence of Binance doing that, but we don't see any.
There was a lot of crime happening internationally.
You mean the exchanges didn't keep records? You mean they couldn't derive those records from the blockchain like they did with Silk Road and everything else? There's not a firm called Chainalysis and Elliptic?
I mean, he also did just go to prison.
Yeah, if Binance did any nefarious activities when they launched in 2017, it should be on chain, on record. But when you look on record, people were just trading. Come on.
He went for 4 months, and the big thing that they got pissed off after going through 11 million documents was some accounts that were on an OFAC sanctioned list should have probably not been serviced, and that's why he only got 4 months.
Well, here's the thing, right? I'm just gonna. I don't mean to cut you off, but like, I'm not here to argue their cases. Like, I actually support all of them. Roger, CZ, Snowden, Assange. I think all these people
You just called Binance corrupt. But
yeah, they were very scammy in the early days. Like, they were doing a lot of wash trading and faking volume. Like, come on, dude. Like, let's not pretend like it wasn't that.
Chill, relax, brother. Like, I brought you up because I thought you were gonna apologize to Charles.
I did apologize, and I'm in.
Like you're being on the defensive, brother.
Right?
I was watching a documentary recently on the early days of stock market. Someone did it in the 1980s and the 2008 financial collapses right before. There was a doco, you guys need to watch it, and in that doco some lady was talking about wash trading and people faking volumes, like large companies that was doing it in the stock market, where they create substantial amount of volume to make it look like, oh my god, this is, people are making so much money, to create the fake illusion of wealth so that other people would buy that stock, so that stock market would rise. This thing was not invented in crypto. Binance didn't create this. This was well known in the traditional finance before it came into crypto. That's why I'm saying, come on, bro. People are just...
You don't even know it. You got swayed by a charismatic guy in a fucking Louis Vuitton jumpsuit.
Yeah, like,
this is what I'm talking about, dude. Like, this is how you really believe and think. Like,
that's what everyone thinks, though, man. Like,
why?
And every time somebody,
because Richard created the illusion of that. He created that persona. Shill keeps asking, why though? Why do people criminalize him? And they putting, because he's always meddling himself with come on, bro. If I come over here on a clown suit to every single day, everybody's gonna have a perception that, hey, Nak is a clown, boy. He's wearing the clown nose, the hat, the suit, and everything. So whatever you have to teach, they don't want to listen, because people always would see you as the character. So sometimes image is good too. You know, me, I clown around, I do all this other stuff, but 90% is seriousness. But Richard is always associating himself with that, even by his teachings. It's like, okay, cool. BitConnect is bad, BitConnect scam, whatever. And then people find out you was following them real close, them BitConnect guys. It's almost like Richard was studying them to the T. Some say even Richard allegedly was invested into BitConnect. We heard OGs in the Hex and Pulsechain community says Richard was following the Satish Kumbanis and all these guys' accounts real close. And then after that, the proof of weak hands thing happened. And all of that stuff. Who's the lady that ran off? The Ignatova chick? I forgot. OneCoin. She inspired BitConnect. BitConnect inspired Proof of Weak Hands. And then Hex was born. Come on, bro. So this is back then. If you had to be in 2017 to know what I'm talking about. If you're a Pulsechain investor today, like, I'm not talking about you because you knew you just got here. You had to be here back then. Like, we was here back then to see what went on. There's a reason why a lot of people didn't even trust Hex when it launched, because of what went on before Hex, you know. People got scammed. We was into dogecoin. All of this other stuff was going on in the background. Proof of weak math, proof of weak hands, proof of this, proof of that. And then all of a sudden, you got Hex. So it almost seems like those things inspired it. And Richard was just studying those things, allegedly, you know. And then all of a sudden, he wants to create something that's similar but yet sustainable. This is why they call it the long Ponzi or whatever they call Hex. But you put that stigma there. Why do that? Why launch Hex and then put referral codes there when you know what happened to a BCC, you know? So if you create them kind of stigmas, people are always gonna look at you that way. That's the reason why early mainstream crypto, they didn't trust Richard. They just looked at him as one of those guys. He put himself in that situation, unfortunately. If he rolled like if he rolled like Charles and Vitalik and all these other guys, and he was just doing his live streams and launched his stuff in peace without associating himself with those other things, maybe he would have had a different outcome.
An issue here. Instead of you attack the people and then you apologize for being defensive.
See, now I feel for even apologizing because you just exposed yourself.
You really haven't apologized.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I did apologize.
You didn't apologize.
I'm saying that I'm sorry that you
don't understand the nature of why I have grievances and what the issues are, and then you drag my friends in and just call my friend CZ corrupt. Fuck you. You don't know CZ. You've never met the man. You've never.
That's one thing about Charles, boy. Oh boy, if you get on his bad side, oh man, yeah, bitter taste. Charles don't play. Yeah, I don't.
Spend any time with him. He's one of the most honest, hardworking people in the entire cryptocurrency space. You have no evidence or personal knowledge of their operations or how hard they tried or the environment that they grew up in. And the fact that he's still around and still capable of doing the things that he did and went to prison and he's back after 4 months of that hell. And being a political prisoner, absolutely. He was the symbol of the cryptocurrency space, and Biden himself said, put this man in jail, I don't care how. How hard is it when the president of the United States of America has got a hard on to put you in jail to fight that fucking thing? And you know what? He could have. He was in an extradition-free country in Abu Dhabi, and he could have played politics and bribed people and stayed in as a fugitive in Abu Dhabi and lived like a fucking king with his money. Instead, he tried hard to negotiate for the sake of his business.
There you go. Big up to CZ. That's what I respected. Once I seen that, that's the moment where I respected CZ forever, bro. I was like, he could have run away. He made all these billions. He could have stayed in Dubai and Abu Dhabi where crypto is nobody's gonna persecute you if you do anything with crypto over there. But he chose to come back and plead with the United States persecutors. He chose to work with them. He chose to say, hey, here's our order books, here's our open books, and whatever you need us to do, we'll do it, but we just want to be compliant. Binance was begging people for many, many years while people were making videos shitting on CZ. He was pleading with persecutors, American alphabet agencies, please regulate us. We just want to be compliant. We just want to carry on with our business. We don't want to be criminals. Whatever you think we're doing, we don't want to do that. He was pleading with people, bro. Once I seen that with CZ, I said, this ain't no FTX situation, bro. He's no Sam. This is the reason why I defended him. And today, look, he's out and free. And we're celebrating that. But people you want to watch BS people that just tell you, they just see Luna collapse and this one collapsed, and they want to make up some fake stories about CZ and all this other stuff. But come on, bro. Like, if longevity, sometimes it wins. People who has been here the longest, give them the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because we in a crypto space, we're small. That's why I support all of these guys. Even Richard and his criminal case, no matter how much you think he's a bad guy, go watch my channel, bro. I support Richard Heart. I want him to win the case. Why? Because I know there are pulse chain investors and people who sacrifice, and they're suffering right now. They can't wait for this thing to be over, so finally we can see pulse chain at a penny or something. Not even $1. Even if it goes to a penny, people will change their life forever again because of Richard Heart. Why? Because he did it with Hex. He proved a lot of people wrong. You know, people that didn't believe in him, and he proved them wrong by making 2,000 people that was in his little circle rich. You know, and he can do it all over again with pulse chain. If the opportunity is there, us as opportunists and people who are just small, and we're just trying to come up and make something out of our lives instead of killing ourselves, working 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, grinding it, we can change our lives. That's it. That's all it is in crypto. Ain't nobody here bad or no criminal or none of this other stuff. But I think if there's a criminal stuff, Richard needs to do what CZ did. Why are you hiding, Ricky? Why are you hiding? Look at what Charles is saying. This is what the whole argument is. This Charles is saying, yo, no, this ain't no CZ case, this ain't no Roger Ver case or nothing, bro. If there's potential wire fraud or tax fraud and all this other stuff, you need to face it as a man, Richard, and go and address it and say, no, I didn't do this in Finland. You know, you need to go face the Finland authorities if they are coming after you and whatnot. If there's an international warrant on your arrest, you go to the law and you fight it. But why hide? Why sit on your little circle somewhere in a mountain and just enjoying your billies and gains? Like, people don't look at you like a man after that. It's just like, yo, come, CZ faced his fear, you know? Roger Ver is facing his fear now. So you should face your fear too, Richard. So if Charles having all these doubts about you, being a criminal and whatnot, go to the authorities and whoever is persecuting you and let them know that you're a legit guy. Then maybe people are gonna change their perception of Richard. That's the only frustrating thing about this pulse chain thing. I want everybody to win, bro, so we can all get on with this bull market. Look at this. We almost at in February, second month of the year, and we haven't seen nothing yet. I think this year we might see April, May, June, July and whatnot is going to be just dry season. This is going to be a dry bull market because of stuff like this.
All the people in BNB and his exchange to go to the United States of his own free volition with no plea deal and plead guilty. That's character. And you just called the man corrupt, whom you've never met. Because again, you're in a fucking cult. For a guy that goes and all he does is criticize people. I listened to his criticism about Cardano. It's vacuous word salad, but you guys drink it out of a fucking cup because he's charismatic and confident.
That's another thing. Charles, this is not a jab that Charles did on like randomly, because I've never seen Charles just randomly attack other people in cryptocurrencies. Years ago when Hex was doing well and Cardano just launched their smart contracts, I remember Ricky jumping on streams saying, Cardano community, how did your smart contract thing goes? Back then we was facing concurrency issues and whatnot. He was laughing at them, you know. So Ricky is not all clean, you know. He's not all saint, he's not God, he's not none of that stuff, you know. He makes mistakes and he does a lot of 180s. You know, and you know, sometimes it comes back and bite him, man.
And what does he build? He forked technology I invented.
Ricky, what have you done? Ricky forked technology that Charles invented and added it to pulse chain. Wow, man. Is that true? And he's claiming it too. 100% flawless operation. Hey, hate me. Look at this watch here. $250,000. Hey Charles, look at this watch. Yeah, Richard is funny, bro.
And he slapped on a crude ass consensus algorithm, and suddenly he's a fucking genius. And then you say everybody picks on us, everybody attacks us, everybody's against us. Yes, I regret apologizing to you, Charles. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. You're the one who just called one of my good friends corrupt after all the good things he's done for this industry. Y'all seem to love the markets. Y'all seem to love the liquidity, the $1 trillion of transactions that Binance has processed since 2018. You like the $2 trillion crypto markets, but yet somehow, some way, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, someone said this happened like a month ago. I wasn't here. Y'all know I just got back, but I didn't even know any of this stuff was going on. I wasn't even online, to be honest. Like last year, the end of the year was not good for me, but I was not well. I just recovered from a long ass pneumonia, and I came back, regained my weight and everything, started training again, and yeah, doing a little bit better. But you know, this is stuff like this is just like, man, let's just all get along. But you don't want to get in the bad books of Charles Hoskinson when he's on the brink of working with regulators to help crypto, when he's in the brink of, like, he's that close to Trump. You want that guy like that, you know, to be, you don't want to be on the bad side of a guy like that. You know, I get it, Pulsechain community and Hex community, these other crypto communities don't want nothing to do with you. It's not because of you yourself as a community member and whatnot. Y'all are cool, man. I like the Pulsechain community, but what the founder did in the past is just haunting them, and is holding this chain back. The reason why you see a lot of money bridging in and out of Pulsechain is people are just not sure what to do. That's why, because every day the news might be either he's guilty or he's innocent, and we're gonna go pump, and it's putting you back to the same position Hex was in 2019. You either gonna take a leap of faith, or you're just gonna miss out on one of the biggest opportunities in the game. You know, that's it. It's and Ricky, man, see, picking a contradiction. What is this? Look at what is garbage, Richard? Look, pump that tire, bro. Ricky just recreated Pump That Fun. And the saddest part about it is, years ago, I watched the stream of Richard, and someone asked him about people creating their own tokens and whatnot, and Ricky said, well, you can try and duplicate many of these hexes and whatnot, but if everyone build a project, who's gonna be the buyer, who's gonna be the speculator, who's gonna be the investor? And I respected that about Ricky. Richard said that. And for him to go on and do this now, come on, people want Pulsechain to go up, people want pulsex to do well, incentive token and whatnot. We don't care about Pump That Tire. It's just garbage, people creating rubbish, and you're diluting all of that economic energy that was supposed to come to Pulsechain to make the coin do well into here, Pump That Fun. And Pump That Fun did the same thing with Solana. It didn't help no Solana. They generated over $500 million. Is that money pumping Solana right now? No, you know? It's like everybody going to the marketplace and we all selling potato. Look at Cabby Lame. Just this is this. You know, everybody go to the marketplace with a bag of potatoes trying to sell it, and we all have the same potatoes. Who's gonna buy the potatoes from us? So in crypto, there has to be a balance. There has to be creators, inventors, there has to be builders, there have to be buyers and speculators. This is why I hear even in DeFi, I hear people always all the time, oh, speculation is not needed. We don't like speculators. We don't do this. And I'm thinking these people are really not that bright, because if you create something and nobody comes and speculate on it, no one buys it. It's only you and your little nitpick or circle. So people have to come and speculate on your project. People have to come and use your product. People have to come into your blockchain and use it in order for them to like it and buy it and use your token as a goods and services, as a utility token, so it can have some kind of economic value. If no one speculates on your product is trash. It's gonna go to zero. No matter, you can build the best blockchain ever, you can build the best product ever in crypto. If no one talks about it, if no one speculates on it, if no one's talking about it on a daily basis, it's gonna go to zero. So you need balance in crypto. You need creators, you need inventors, you need builders, you also need speculators. You also need people like us that come and talk about your products and what you got going on. That's just is what it is, man. Y'all need to get along. Pulsechain and the Cardano community. I'm not into this bashing crypto founder kind of thing, bro. I don't bash crypto founders, but I respect Charles because he changed my life in 2021. I come from a poor village in the African sub-Saharan region. You know, I was not supposed to be here in crypto, but because of watching Charles Hoskinson live streams way back in 2019 is the reason why I'm here, and I decided to just take a leap of faith and take whatever few chips I have in my pocket and just let me put it on Cardano and start speculating and start following the blockchain. And all of a sudden, all the promises he said he was going to do, he did it. Shelly launched, you know, we started staking. Cardano's doing well. A year later, smart contracts got here. It was rocky in the beginning with concurrency issues and whatnot. It wasn't smooth, but later on he perfected the blockchain, and now you have the Voltaire. We're talking about the Voltaire, which is the final nail in the coffin with Cardano, man. It's a beautiful chain. It's not as big as, I don't know, Ethereum and whatnot in terms of volume. It doesn't generate you much in terms of TVL and whatnot, but we're gonna get there. That's it. Pulsechain, I'm hoping the same thing might happen, man, if Richard fights his criminal case and his civil case and whatnot, so that everybody in crypto can win. This is Nakamoto crypto. I'm not here to create enemies and just be fighting people and doing none of that garbage, man. It's trash. I wish well for all of these crypto founders, because I don't want to see no crypto founder go to jail. Because since 2017, Quadiga CX, the founder, faked his death or something, or he unalived himself, or he got unalived. Someone, he's no longer on this earth. The lady that created OneCoin, she's no longer here. We don't know what happened to her, if she's alive or gone. The guy who created, the developer, MakerDAO, the young guy, MakerDAO or Aave, which thing was that? He's gone. He recently passed away. So we don't know if someone offed him or he unalived himself. So these things, they don't end well. I wouldn't wish that on any crypto founder. So when I see a crypto founder doing some weird activities like collecting people's data and having a good laugh about it, whether you're doing it via online, or you're going on the internet, you're collecting their data on chain, or you just investigating your community and whatnot, and you're garnering some kind of information on them, you're doing some weird blockchain activities online, I'm always wary, and I pray for you, because one day if that stuff comes back and bite you, the authorities are not going to look at the investors. They always come after the founder. It's going to be you in an orange jumpsuit in some jail cell sometimes, and they're going to either Epstein you or rest in peace McAfee. You're going to be found somewhere in the pool of blood, or somewhere going to happen to you. This is why it's dangerous to become a crypto founder. It's laughable now, but when that karma comes back to you, you don't want it, because there's many eyes and people's money. You don't know how they earn it. If they take it and they turn it into a digital form and they put it into your chips, betting on your blockchain, take that money seriously, because money is karma. Whatever you take on this earth is gonna come back and bite you in this dunya or in the hereafter. It's either here or 6 feet deep. So be very, very careful as a founder. And I'm talking in general. I'm not just talking to Richard. All founders in crypto, be very, very wary and careful, bro. Move smart. Collecting people's information or going south to bloody, do some weird blockchain activities, creating random coins, pumping it and then dumping it and rugging it, and that, be very, very careful, bro, because one day that stuff gonna come back and bite you, and very, very few people gonna be there to support you when that happens, because the apps is you a genius, you are the best upside ever, you the best and whatnot, because you making us money. But when the downfall comes, you're gonna see who are your real friends by then. I'm gonna leave it at that, bro. Big up to the Pulsechain community, big up to the Cardano community, bro. I'm Cardanian for life, but I like Pulsechain. Like up the video, share it, subscribe. for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.